lunch and 10 minutes. And we are talking about professionalism, we are talking about industry-academic collaboration. So maybe time is, unfortunately, maybe academics seem to have endless time. But then industry doesn't seem to have that. And professors, we could never stop once we start. So, I mean, I want to be very sure I stop within 10 minutes. And so please excuse me if I'm a bit faster. I'm sure we can discuss later during lunch and dinner or whatever we have to. It's like saying you're going through a train, you see wonderful pictures, but something is serious, it will always register in your mind and you can always think, ponder, or go to Google and relook at it. So here, and which is the button? And I think I'm also into the same problem. Which button is?
Downward arrow?
Yeah, fine. Okay, so thank you. We are from BM Al Munjal University. This is Mr. Dr. Bijmol Al Munjal, who was the founder of the group, and it's about 8 months since he passed away. But I think he very clearly believed that education is a key enabler, and in the era of knowledge economy, it simply goes without saying it is key. And this is one of the first academic universe activity that they have started. Every one of their companies have been global leaders, whether it is cycle, whether it is motorbike, whether it is any other sub companies. Maybe I will not go into that, but therefore they said we need to create an Indian university which is also globally recognized as a leader. I am sure we are a wonderful institution. The whole world is leveraging our demographic dividend, but at the same time, somewhere, I mean, something is still lacking. Even our substandard student, when he goes abroad, he becomes a world leader. So what is it that we want to do? So they said, anyway, let us set a vision, aspirational, saying everybody who comes out of the system becomes a leader. So they said, nurturing ethical leaders with knowledge and skill, immersed in experiential learning. Today we are in the middle of the knowledge economy, things are changing, and so the whole problem of our unemployability is, even sometimes a PhD from IISc is clueless without the umbilical cord of his professor to get a postdoc, and he doesn't know what he can do, then let alone all the skilled issues that we have been speaking from the morning. So how do we, therefore we said we have to make leaders out of at least whoever comes into a portal, and therefore everything has to be from here to the world, nothing in between. I mean, we have to simply try how to do the best. And of course, if at all we have to focus on something, we said, let us look at sustainable and inclusive innovation. And it is not just because a politician, he will say, roti, kapada, makan, urja, swachhata, swasthata. I mean, they all say, but it's also $1 trillion industry and an opportunity. So it is not something for just a fad, but actually it's an opportunity, and so we want to look at it. And therefore, again, I'll not go into all of this as to what I want to say, but the key point we just want to again reiterate multiple times: no country in the world has delivered the amount of students who are in education system as India has today. I mean, we already have, you have seen the staggering numbers: school, college, ITI, diploma, continuing education. Or if you look all of them, we maybe have over 75 million people. And even China may be saturated around 65 million, and we'll soon be going to 150 million plus. And for that level of staggering delivery, and we will soon see the demographic dividend will become literally a curse if we cannot enable them. And so the onus is on us in the educators. And so we simply cannot look at it and say it's business as usual, I am simply going to relax and work. And therefore we need to change, and change, it has to be fast. And also the whole globe is looking at India even for industry, innovation. And see, we are also we have been last couple of years, we are even the topmost destination for innovation. Investment. So with such a change, how do we do? If it has to happen, it simply goes without saying that it has to be industry-academic interaction, a key part of our education. And just even the last month survey from Labour Ministry said 65% of our company, we just discussed in the morning, over 45 to 50 million small and medium enterprise, 65% of the company with more than 10 people actually say that they cannot find a qualified, skilled person. And so we are also having 75 million people in education system, but say even with the 10 people company, they say we can't find. So what is wrong? How do we bridge knowledge and skill together? And it cannot be just practice as a technician, both have to go together. And I'll not go into all this, but it is just to say that the whole world is going to change the way we live, the way we do things. And just whether it is service industry or whether it is disruptive innovation, it is expected that it's going to be a 80 trillion opportunity in the next 20 years, of which at least 25% is India's opportunity. It means 20 trillion. Prime Minister says in next 15 years will be 10 trillion. So whether you go by Prime Minister, whether you go by global predictions, 10 to 20 trillion means from current 2.5 trillion, we are going 4 times or 8 times in the next 20 years. And it can only happen with education and the skill happening, because again, we have to deliver 100 million plus people. So that's a tremendous opportunity. And at the same time, we are doing all of the best. But we see that even, say, last week we had the BRICS rating. A few weeks back we had, the Asia rating, let alone the global ratings. We are ranked 5th in Asia, 4th in BRICS. And see, even countries like Taiwan and Korea have more people than us. So how do we go beyond this is what we need to seriously look at. So I'll not go into all this. But our education system in the 12th plan clearly said we are looking at 4E: equity, expansion, employability, and excellence. So I think the onus is on us to just make sure we truly work towards excellence, that the rest are taken care of. And but therefore, in a way, if you look at it, our education system seems to be neither now here or actually going nowhere. I mean, because we are completely lost, what do we do? I mean, and we simply cannot follow anybody's model because our model has to be unique, innovative, ahead of the curve. And so what do we do? And maybe Martin Luther King Jr. once said, human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. It has to be by design, by practice, by action. And that can, again, we are supposed to be doing with industry. So industry has to work quarter to quarter to succeed. So we also cannot relax, and we need to seriously look at how do we do. And again, we have enough explanation. See, we cannot look at all top-down government enabling us, like with the, I'm sure you all know Brihadishwara temple. I mean, because we are from the seed coming from Chennai, I thought we should look to something there. So there you had already, you built first the main deity and then the temple was built. But today we have to look at creating Taj Mahals from each of us brick by brick, or in the age of nanotechnology. This is just to say that we have looked at our education curriculum, multiple countries, multiple accreditation process. What do they look at education? Finally, it simply comes down to experiential learning. Because simply, I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I understand, was Confucius. The same thing Chanakya had said, Siddhir Bhushyati Vidya. So the crowning of knowledge is experiencing, practicing, employing it. And therefore, I think how do we link knowledge and skill is the essence. And it cannot simply happen, most of the time, even we professors might never have been in an industry. So we have to engage with industry. Both of us have to, industry cannot be in its own isolated tower either. So how do we work? And I think multiple systems are being said. In our education process, when we started the university 20 months back, we want to call ourselves an entrepreneurial university. And we are sort of 22 months old, and we said, what is it that we want to have in our education system? The founders believed the key aspects they wanted to look was ability to inquire, that is question, whatever they read, and that should lead to innovation, and if the innovation happens, it has to have impact on the society. This was the broad principle. Based on that, we said, as academics sitting there, what should we do? How do we build a pedagogy or a process? So we said, we want to call it from the 3I value, a 5I principle of education. If we look at our close to 48,000 colleges, 830 plus universities, we are all giving only information, because either we have insufficient resources, insufficient faculty, or sheer lack of time, because I have to deliver 100 courses or so many things. So information. But in the age of MOOCs, when everything is available, that information will not do. So 95% of our institution only if you are giving information, I will be out in another few years, because all will be available on the MOOCs. Industry will be happy with the certification from that rather than my teaching. And maybe 5% of good institutions, infrastructure and faculty make the student think. Maybe 0.01% is where actually something innovation is happening, but still we cannot name 5 products of our education system, when most of the time it stops with a proof of concept or a patent or a good publication. And therefore, we cannot actually name 5 companies. Whereas you go to Stanford alone, 50,000 companies, 5.2 million people, 100 billion, a million is the annual royalty. Whole of working expenditure of an NCR region colleges. So but then it is our own students doing there. So what is it that can do? It's simple, coming back to SIIP. That is the only opportunity. And this is just to say we are trying to bring industry, academics, R&D, everything together. And so we make sure that skill, knowledge, perspective, all are thought together, and we mandately the student practice in the industry. And that practicing is that if he is even doing a BBA, BCom, he would at least work for 15 weeks. If he's an engineer, he would work effectively over a period of 3 years, work for 31 weeks in industry, and that's part of the institutional process. Not that student can simply go anywhere, but by design and link it to education curriculum, that is a key aspect of our industry academic information linking. And we are happy to say maybe within the first 2 years, all of our 800 students have already gone for 15 weeks. We today work with companies who have invested, other than the Hero Group, 250 crores in labs, 15 labs. We also do about 2 crores of funded research. And every education, when we say experiential learning, professors of practice, every subject mandatorily 30 to 40% is taught by professors of practice, complementary to what is in the content, and also industry exposure, so industry immersion, and also student get international immersion, mandatory. That's again built in. He doesn't have to pay anything more. So the student will get international professors coming and delivering here, and also they go and study some courses there. And these are just to mention the universities with which professors come and students go, or again research organizations with which we have MOU. So students visit and those professors come and enable us, from Fraunhofer to various CSIR labs. These companies have set up labs. I think I can discuss later, because maybe I want another 15-20 seconds to finish. And so these are the over 50 plus companies. I think my colleagues, 3 of them have been sitting for 4 yesterday, and today a couple of them are here who are dealing with facilitating this industry academic engagement, that they make sure, as Professor Tyagarajan just said, it's not so easy to simply say, please send my such student. So they have made sure that every one of the students gets even multiple visits to industry, and plus we have planned and created 6 platform technologies or competence centers, which we think cumulatively we could design, develop product for any domain. They are agnostic to one product or one technology, but they are from ICT to manufacturing to environment, sustainability, energy, and large area flexible microelectronics to sensors, instrument automation. And this, we have close to 600 crores of investment in this coming. Already 350 crores have happened, and these are some of the industry labs that we work with Siemens and Shell, and these are just images of what is being on, and these are state-of-art lab where we could help a student, just as I mentioned for Stanford. The student can actually, if he develops an idea, he can make it, and we can again support him with the ecosystem to transfer, design for manufacturability and manufacturing. But it's not restricted to industry activities, they also mandatory to social activities, they do have many other activities. So we are happy to say as a 22-month university, we have done something reasonable. Our first batch of students have already graduated. They do get about 7 lakhs of pay. And we have been learning many things from everybody. We are willing to share what we have done. So thanks once again. I think I'm sort of finishing my 10 minutes of time. And we look forward to it. I think we all have to work together. We are not competing at all, as I said. Going from 2.5 trillion to 10 trillion or 20 trillion, I think none of us are competing. Let us not undermine each other. Let us work together, as he already mentioned about Ford. And I think sky is the limit for us. Thank you once again for giving me an opportunity.